Week 2, day 5 of CDL or Bust, which means it's day 10 of the program overall. We're joined by our good friend Jason Horton, and he reports that the Louisville Cardinals, who he doesn't care about, won 70-14 last night in their season opener. So I know there's some happy people at Truck America training. But yesterday, apparently, our good friend Jason was very, very happy because there's this photo. And Jason seems to be signaling that the runner is safe at third base or something like that, and Teddy is seemingly ready to dispute that. Jason, what do you think happened here yesterday? What's going on?
It looks like we're talking about parallel parking right there and how to get it in there the right way.
Our photographer, John Summers, says that he thought what happened here is that you were the first one to do it successfully, and you were kind of bragging on it.
That may be true.
Do you do a little bragging and trash talking?
Some of us are kind of competitive about it. We're starting to have a little more fun with it now.
Of course, you're the only one who didn't even have to take your permit test last week, so you were already ahead of the game when this whole thing started.
Yes, sir.
You were on first base, and everybody else was still at bat. So, Jason, have you guys been recruited by a lot of have you had recruiters come and talk to you guys yet about their companies? You getting feelers from people?
Oh, yeah. We've had about 4 or 5 already come in and talk to us and let us know about their company and what they offer.
Any of them impress you?
Yeah, there was the one we had yesterday. He was pretty good. They talked about some decent money and some great benefits and nice tractors and trailers. So,
do you mind telling me who that was?
Mick Elroy.
Where are they out of? Where are they out of?
Cuba, Alabama.
Cuba, Alabama. Could you see doing that?
Yeah, because they're starting one up here in Louisville. You go like 500 miles from your house and 500 miles from your house, complete circle all the way around 500 miles. So it didn't sound too bad.
Although it wouldn't get you to Austin, Texas now, would it?
No, sir, it wouldn't. Get me home every couple of days and get me home on the weekends, though.
Jason, I'm sure you know that by now what happened with the senior class and their CDL permit tests, their CDL exams, and the pre-trip. Did that shake you up at all or make you think I better take this thing really, really seriously about the pre-trip? Because it wasn't like they didn't even had a problem driving. They just messed up the pre-trip.
No, I mean, they preach pre-trip pretty hard to us to stay focused and to keep practicing. When you ain't doing nothing, practice your pre-trip. If nothing's going on, you're not driving, go practice that pre-trip. They preach that's one of the hardest things because there is 130 steps to it.
Wow. And how many steps are there to 4-point?
There's actually 6.
Right. You knew that. So that's a lot of steps between the two things. And I know 4-point, you mess one of those 6, you are history.
Yep.
You think you got those two, you got pre-trip and 4-point down, or pre-trip still with 130, that's going to take a little more time?
Pre-trip's going to take a little more time. We do our pre-trip for an hour in the afternoon, and as soon as we come in, everybody does a 4-point in the morning. So
when we talked to you last on Tuesday, you had just getting behind the wheel. Now you've had several days of driving, and I know you came in with more experience driving something close to this than anybody in the class. But how's it gone for you this week driving? You feel very comfortable now behind the wheel of a big rig?
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable. Bob says I'm rushing my downshifting, so I got to work on slowing that down and getting my pattern. Getting a good rhythm.
Is that sort of maybe the way you are about a lot of things? Did you do stuff too fast in school sometimes?
Oh, yeah. That was the reason I failed my permit test first time was I got one, and then I started rushing through the second one, not reading everything right, and got myself in trouble.
Other than the downshifting, everything else coming along, the parking, the offset, and I assume driving itself has been pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm doing pretty good.
You glad you didn't have the Joey experience the other day where the truck just dies on you?
Oh, I've had that experience with my other companies plenty of time.
What do? You
just sit and wait. That's all you can do.
Back then, it was a tow truck you had to wait for?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you guys do this morning?
Well, all went out driving except for me, Joey, and Russell, and we just practiced our parallel, our offset, and our straight backing.
So you're parking, any of them, I mean, backing, I'm sure, straight backing, that's a little more easy, but the offset and the parallel, you feel like you're in good shape with those two?
Oh, yeah. I feel like I'm doing really good. I mean, sometimes I make little mistakes and I have to retry it again. But for the most part, I feel like I'm way better than I was day one.
Are you, because you're doing so well, or are they going to let you take a truck home for the weekend?
No, probably not.
What are your weekend plans, Jace?
Don't know yet. Don't really have any plans yet.
Not going to like just immerse yourself in the books, or you going to try to get away from it, or how are you going to approach the school part of it?
I'm going to study a couple times this weekend, at least an hour every day, because like I said, that pre-trip's so important. And there's so many words you have to be exact on, and, it's a tough one, so that's the one I definitely need to study on.
You guys are now through 2 weeks of this thing, come about 5 hours from now. Do you feel it's been 2 weeks, or feel like it's been forever, or it's gone quick? I mean, I just don't know what your sense is, how it's gone.
Oh, this week has flown by. I mean, it feels like it should really only be end of the day Monday right now.
Really? How come?
I guess just driving and getting out there, actually getting to do something, it just makes the time fly.
What's been the most fun so far?
Oh, driving on the road.
Mostly on 65?
We've been on 65. We've been on Joe Prather and Radcliffe. We've been on Dixie Highway. We've all, I think, now pretty much experienced a little bit of stop-and-go traffic, a little bit of highway driving, and a little bit of just, driving nobody around you. And
Stop and go, has that been at all challenging?
Oh, yes, because you got to watch how far you are, know when to stop, when to start stopping, hitting all the downshifts. You miss one, it kind of throws you for a loop, and it's tough.
The box truck you drove or drive with the uniforms, that's an automatic transmission?
Yeah, that one's an automatic.
And this thing's got 9 gears you're driving. So that's got to be a huge change.
Oh, it's a big change. My truck I drove before that one, it was a manual, and so it's getting back into it again. Like I said, if you don't do it every day, it's kind of, you forget the little things.
What's funny is Russell said yesterday he thought, because he learned to drive on a manual, that in a way it was bad because he was thinking the way you would shift a manual car, and there's so much more to a truck, he thought it actually hurt him that he'd driven manual before, that he'd driven a stick as opposed to always driving an automatic like some people. You buy that?
I think knowing the basics of it really kind of helps you out, but it is way different than a car. I mean, you don't double clutch in your car. You don't do a whole lot of downshifting. Usually, you kick it in neutral and just roll.
Explain to somebody who's never driven a truck what double clutching is.
Double clutching is when let's say you're in third gear and you want to go to fourth gear. You push the clutch in, take it out of gear, get it in neutral, push the clutch back in, and put it in fourth.
Looks like you're ready to be an instructor.
No. Those are some brave individuals that get in the truck with us.
Have you been in the truck with all the instructors now?
No, I haven't been in there with Ed yet.
Okay. Ed's drove 42 million miles, 42 years, 6.5 million miles, and he never really had an accident. One time something happened to a mirror. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, very impressive. I mean, you think how many people, how many hours he's had behind the wheel and never had an accident.
So, Jason, 42 years from now, you're going to be 71. You think you're going to be driving 42 years?
Oh, sure.
All right. All right. And what's the deal for this afternoon? You guys are getting on the road, right?
Yes, me, Russell, and Joe will be out on the road.
All right, and then back to normal on Tuesday morning. All right. Well, Jason, or I know you like to be called Horton. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, sir. Have a good weekend yourself.